Everything changed in one moment. One decision. One breakup that nobody saw coming. Episode 10 of Landman Season 2 is not just a finale. It is an emotional explosion that tears families apart, destroys trust, and leaves every character standing at a dangerous crossroads. Love collapses, loyalty is tested, and the future of MTEX hangs by a thread. This is the episode where silence hurts louder than words, and walking away hurts more than staying. Episode 10 opens with emotional weight hanging in the air. The shocking breakup is not loud, dramatic, or full of shouting. That is what makes it worse. It feels cold, final, unavoidable. Two people who once believed they were stronger together now realize they are pulling each other down. This breakup is not about hate. It is about exhaustion, fear, and impossible choices. For the first time this season, we see how pressure has slowly poisoned the relationship. Long nights, dangerous decisions, secrets kept for protection. What once felt like support now feels like distance. The characters involved are no longer fighting the world together. They are fighting each other, quietly and painfully. What makes this breakup shocking is the timing. It comes when both sides need each other the most. One is facing legal danger, public pressure, and a future that could collapse overnight. The other is emotionally drained, tired of living in fear, tired of waiting for things to get better. And in this moment, love is not enough to save them. There is no clear villain here. That is the tragedy. Both sides are right. Both sides are broken. One chooses survival. The other chooses responsibility. And the space between those choices becomes impossible to cross. This breakup sends shockwaves far beyond the relationship itself. It affects business decisions, loyalty lines, and emotional stability. Suddenly, characters who relied on this bond for strength are exposed. Vulnerable. Alone. And that weakness is dangerous in a world where powerful people are always watching for cracks. The most painful part is what is not said. The things they want to say but cannot. The apologies that come too late. The promises that no longer feel honest. When the final words are spoken, there is no dramatic music. Only the heavy understanding that nothing will ever be the same again. This breakup is not just the end of a relationship. It is the end of an illusion. The illusion that love can survive anything. Episode 10 makes it clear. Sometimes love survives the truth, and sometimes the truth destroys love. And as the dust settles, one terrifying question remains. Was this breakup a necessary escape, or the biggest mistake of their lives? After the breakup, the damage spreads fast. What started as a personal decision quickly turns into a chain reaction that affects everyone. Episode 10 makes one thing very clear. In Landman, emotions and business are never separate. When trust breaks in private, it always explodes in public. The characters closest to the breakup feel the shift immediately. Conversations become short. Eye contact disappears. People who once defended each other now hesitate before speaking. Silence becomes louder than arguments. And in that silence, doubt grows. Who can still be trusted? Who is only protecting themselves? This is where loyalty is tested the hardest. Some characters try to stay neutral, but neutrality is impossible in this world. Choosing to stay quiet becomes a choice on its own. Others are forced to pick sides, even when both sides feel wrong. And once those lines are drawn, they cannot be erased. One of the most painful moments in this episode is realizing that loyalty is no longer based on love or respect. It is based on survival. Characters begin asking themselves dangerous questions. If everything falls apart, who will still stand next to me? Who will leave first? Who will betray me to stay safe? The breakup exposes hidden fears that were buried all season. Fear of prison. Fear of losing power. Fear of becoming irrelevant. Fear of being alone. These fears push people to make decisions they would never make under normal circumstances. And those decisions come with consequences that cannot be undone. We also see how past sacrifices are suddenly forgotten. Years of support, protection, and shared struggle are erased by one moment of separation. It becomes painfully clear that in this world, loyalty has an expiration date. Once someone stops being useful, they become invisible. What hurts the most is watching characters realize they were never as secure as they believed. The trust they built was fragile, conditional, and now that condition is gone. The breakup acts like a spotlight, exposing who was truly loyal, and who was only loyal when it was convenient. By the end of this section, the emotional damage is undeniable. Relationships are cracked. Alliances are unstable. And everyone senses that something bigger is coming. Not because of anger, but because broken trust always creates chaos. Episode 10 quietly warns us. The real danger is not the breakup itself. The real danger is what people are willing to do after trust is gone. As trust collapses, power begins to move. Episode 10 shows us that when emotions are shattered, authority never stays where it used to be. People who once felt untouchable suddenly look weak. And people who stayed in the shadows start stepping forward. The breakup creates a vacuum. Decisions that were once made together now fall on one person alone. That weight is unbearable. Every choice feels wrong. Every delay feels dangerous. And in this pressure, mistakes become inevitable. This is where the business side of Landman turns truly dark. Deals are no longer built on strategy, they are built on fear. Characters stop asking, "What is the right move?" and start asking, "What keeps me safe right now?" That shift changes everything. We see characters crossing lines they swore they never would, making calls they know they will regret, aligning with people they do not trust because they feel they have no other option. Power is no longer about control. It is about leverage. And leverage always comes at a cost. One of the most disturbing elements of this episode is how quickly morality disappears. Good people justify bad actions by telling themselves it is temporary. Just this once. Only until things calm down. But in Landman, temporary choices have permanent consequences. The breakup also changes how enemies behave. Weakness is visible now. And in this world, weakness invites pressure, threats, and manipulation. Some characters sense opportunity. Others smell blood. The tone shifts from emotional pain to strategic danger. What makes this section so tense is the feeling that everyone knows they are making the wrong choices. But they make them anyway. Because stopping feels more dangerous than continuing. Because admitting fear feels worse than committing a mistake. By the end of this part, the lines between victim and villain blur completely. Everyone is compromised. Everyone is exposed. And the power that once felt stable now feels like it could collapse at any second. Episode 10 reminds us of a brutal truth. When love breaks, power rushes in to fill the space. And power never cares who gets hurt. By the final stretch of episode 10, the emotional damage is complete, but the consequences are only beginning. The breakup has done what no enemy could do. It has weakened the foundation from the inside. And now, everything built on that foundation starts to crack. Characters are forced to face the reality they have been avoiding all season. There is no going back to how things were. No fixing things with one conversation. No easy forgiveness. The choices made in this episode lock everyone into new paths, whether they are ready or not. What hurts the most is watching characters realize that winning might still mean losing. Even if they stay out of prison, protect their money, or keep their position, something important is already gone. Trust, love, emotional safety. And without those things, success feels empty. This episode also makes it clear that Season 3 will not be about healing. It will be about survival. Relationships will be colder. Decisions will be harsher. And the world of Landman will feel more dangerous than ever. People will stop acting out of hope and start acting out of fear. The breakup becomes a symbol of the entire season. Season 2 was about pressure. Episode 10 shows what pressure does when it finally breaks something important. It breaks people in quiet ways. It turns love into distance. It turns loyalty into calculation. By the final moments, there is no dramatic victory or clear defeat. Only uncertainty. Characters stand alone, surrounded by the consequences of their own decisions. And the audience is left with an unsettling feeling. This story is far from over, but it will never feel the same again. Season 2 ends not with answers, but with warnings. That power always demands a price. That love does not guarantee safety. And that sometimes the most shocking breakup is not between two people, but between who a character was and who they are about to become. Episode 10 closes the door on one chapter of Landman. And behind that door, a darker, colder future is waiting. And leverage always comes at a cost. One of the most disturbing elements of this episode is how quickly morality disappears. Good people justify bad actions by telling themselves it is temporary. Just this once. Only until things calm down. But in Landman, temporary choices have permanent consequences. The breakup also changes how enemies behave. Weakness is visible now. And in this world, weakness invites pressure, threats, and manipulation. Some characters sense opportunity. Others smell blood. The tone shifts from emotional pain to strategic danger. What makes this section so tense is the feeling that everyone knows they are making the wrong choices. But they make them anyway. Because stopping feels more dangerous than continuing. because admitting fear feels worse than committing a mistake. By the end of this part, the lines between victim and villain blur completely. Everyone is compromised. Everyone is exposed. And the power that once felt stable now feels like it could collapse at any second. Episode 10 reminds us of a brutal truth. When love breaks, power rushes in to fill the space. And power never cares who gets hurt. By